Charlie, what's going on? The last time we talked, I know you talked to a lot of people, Charlie, so make me feel special. Make me believe it. The last time we talked was like around March, and you tried to get me to eat ants. You were on that ant kick. And can I tell you, my DMs blew up. People are like, what? I go, look, Charlie Puth on a whole, some other stuff.
Yeah, I was at the time. And by the way, it wasn't 9 years ago. I do remember speaking to you, but I kind of just let you roll with that because I wanted to mess with you. But I decided I'm in a gracious mood this Tuesday.
Oh, that's good.
Calvin Harris. We had just written his last song.
Yeah.
On his album that he just put out called Obsessed with Shensia. And in order for us to write a song like that, apparently we had to drink beet juice and eat ants. And that's exactly what we did. And it did work. But you could just have a cup of coffee and experience the same caffeine.
Okay, because we're on the same page. I was like, nah, bro, you're on your own with the ants. Can't do it. But you blew up my DM. So, hey, but anyway.
That's fine. I'll never really understand as to why that got the attention it did, but I'm happy that people kind of took it back to my album, I guess.
Yeah.
Go off. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. So speaking of that, like we talked about the ants, we talked about getting together. We were kind of talking about, you were kind of teetering on your album and all that stuff. But let me get to the nitty gritty of this. Two things. One, when you collaborate with people, something tells me that you're friends with people. I feel like there's some organic collaboration happening because you're single out, left and right, which we play, love it. If that's not like name dropping, like, yo, BTS, come on over here. Jung Kook, come on over here, bro. Let's do an album. Right. How did that happen?
Well, it all comes about. Well, all the best collaborations, in my opinion, come about from friendships before the business music relationship. It never should feel like strictly business.
Right.
And Jungkook and I had we had a little bit of music history together, but we had never performed together. I'm sorry, we have performed together, but we had never put an actual song together.
Mm-hmm.
And left and right, I think when we last spoke in March, I had just come up with the idea for it. This is before I even made the TikTok about it. So the song originally was all me, but I wanted that second verse perspective, that outer worldly perspective from someone who doesn't even speak English, but can still feel those same feelings of which the song is about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes it it just added to its universal feeling. And honestly, he's just a wonderful singer and a great person to work with.
So how did that, like, you text them, you hit them up like, hey, dude, we had burgers the other day. You just came by, we hung out, because that's what you do, Charlie.
Yes.
You guys don't know, this is how Charlie roll. He just be hanging out with people and then go, hey, this song came to mind. Want to do it? Yeah. Then it's a number one hit. So
it actually does happen like that, just with this most of the time.
So, that was a big deal. It's to grab him.
Yeah, it's the cherry on top, I think. And I love meeting all of his fans, and his fan base is so wonderful and has been so wonderful and supportive of the record as well. I'm sure making lots of calls out to Charlotte and asking for the record to be played. And they get along with a lot of my fans are becoming friends with the Army. It's really it's just like a wonderful. That's how music should be perceived. Just wonderful meetings. Now,
have you been welcomed into the Army? Like, that's almost like the Beehive, the Army, like those types of followings. You got to make sure you're nice. So have you been welcomed in, or was it kind of like, who's Charlie? What's the deal? We didn't have dinner. We didn't interview him. Like, what's going on?
I think they just saw Jung Kook and I are legit, and all of the guys in BTS were all legit. Just calling me. I'm sorry.
Oh, because you're just Charlie Puth. That's another collaboration that's going to happen.
It's another collaboration in the works.
Exactly.
Sorry.
We got it here.
It was Jung Kook calling me. He and I are legitimately friends, and I think they just want to be supportive of other people's friends, and it's just all it's all gravy.
Well, I went on our social media, did a reel like, hey, I'm going to be talking to Charlie again. He may try to get me to eat ants. If you got questions, I'm going to do that again because in It might just be me trying to figure out a great place to eat. Because when you say Charlie Puth, again, my DMs blew up. So I've got, that's kind of good and bad. I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah.
But anywho, I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to take one for Charlie. We're about to single. We're going to get out there. We're going to take one for Charlie. But a couple of your fans had some questions. One coming from Orchid is a two-part question, which I was like, man, Charlie's falling is very deep. Yes. How do you deal with the invasion of privacy?
Ooh, I kind of, I dilute it a little bit. So if I'm out doing a really normal thing, like I was this morning, getting a cup of coffee, and someone might be overly excited, we'll say, to maybe ask me a question, I kind of just like let them know that they can just they can just ask me the question, and I'll actually give them a long-winded answer. They'll probably get sick of me at the end of that at the end of that meeting. I'm just trying to convey to everybody that I'm just a guy who is making music.
And that's the vibe I get. I feel like, you know, like we've hung out before. Another question, someone said, how do you take a mental break? Like, what do you do to go, hey, I just need a mental break? But I don't know, Charlie, I feel like you're so kind of, when I say laid back about it, I feel like your process is just natural. It's just, like, do you need to take a break? Because I feel like your process isn't forced. It isn't stress. It's just kind of.
I think you're correct, by the way. I don't think for me, what works is not shutting off completely, just keeping it balanced at all times. Where music is my life, I'm not going to overwork myself to death, and then convince myself that I need 2 days off because I am just so tired. I just sprinkle everything of what needs to be done into my daily life. That way it's fun and I'm getting things done. Like yesterday was a heavy work day, but I got another cup of coffee, and it had brown sugar syrup in it. And I went to a couple friends at the studio, and I went to the studio where I made my album, Charlie, out October 7th, by the way.
Yes, we're gonna get to it. I got you, bro. I got you.
It was a good, fun, vibey day yesterday, but it was still busy. I didn't leave the studio until like 6 o'clock, and that's traffic time in LA. But wait, pause on that. You leaving the studio at 6 o'clock. You know, this kind of early because music people be leaving the studio like 6 in the morning, like 6 a.m., 2 a.m., like be vibing all night. No, we came at 1 and we're walking out, and now it's daylight, like strip club hours and stuff like that. Right. I'm sorry, PC for the parents. But no, I mean, it is what it is. But I know what you mean. The strip club hours. But that's how my musical career started. Literally working with like Mike Will and DJ Mustard and Ray Shrimmerd, and in much heavily deep into the hip hop world. But I never made anything good at those hours. When they would all go to the club, I'd stay back at 2 a.m. at the Interscope studio at the time, and I just wouldn't be making anything good. So I kind of treat it as like a day job. I get to the studio at 8 a.m., leave at 4, or get there at 9 and leave at 5.
And that's why you don't need a mental break, because you give yourself rest.
Yeah.
That's just a PSA there for you kids. Last one I have that someone hit now. Now, Charlie, I'm going to preface this with keep it clean, okay? We got to keep it PG. Okay. So they want to know the fascination with Maroon 5. I know there's a story behind that. You know. Oh, you had some exploration going on. But I'm like, hey, I told y'all I would ask. So it's coming from them, not me.
That is I know what you're referencing. I know what you're inferencing. That is a fan concocted, I think, people who wanted to drive a certain narrative.
My God.
You know, Adam and I were in the gym one time, and someone took that video like 5 years ago and took that video and stitched it together and put inappropriate music behind it and made it look like that it wasn't. But I think that happens to a lot of people. It's amazing how you can bend the narrative.
Yes. Well, you heard it here. Not true. So I'm like, look, I ain't going to be the one to ask the question. I told him I would do it, so I got to be a woman of my word. Now, let's get to the...
Adam Levine, married with
kids. Children.
Yes.
And Charlie, you got other stuff to do.
Yes.
Hello, we got things to do. Yes, so last time we talked, like I said, we talked in March, and you were kind of getting the idea. You were doing the TikToks, and the internet is based behind your new album dropping on October the 7th. Tell us about it, because Charlie, you know, bro, all you do is just do hits. So last time we were talking was Light Switch.
Yeah,
that song was fire.
Thank
you.
And
then you followed it up with Left and Right.
Yeah,
so what I mean,
a little slower. It's a little slower,
but it's still a hit. It's still a hit.
See, I just want to make music that makes people feel good, or I want a positive or a really negative reaction. I don't want I could live or live without this. I don't want the meh reaction. I want I have deep hatred for this song, or I'm enamored with this piece of music that this.
Okay.
But how this album came about is I just took two dichotomies and just stuck them together. Light Switch, there were, in my opinion, it's almost too fast of a song, and there were instances of that missing on the radio. I noticed, because I'm always avidly listening to Top 40.
And what did I say? That is a radio song, because I'm a vampire. Yeah. I got secrets to staying young. That is a radio song that brought it back to the funness, the Christina Aguilera Genie of a Bottles, when records were perfectly produced, like when you listen to a SWV record, even earlier than that, and it was just so like right here, the Teddy Riley remix, it was just so But where was I going with that? So you take two complete opposites and stick them together, and you get Light Switch. You do the same thing with Left and Right, and you get Left and Right, rather. And I did that 10 more times, and then bam, my album came about. So you're not going to tweak anything? Nothing's going to cut? Because now with technology, you can be like, oh, I think this would be good on it. Or we just got to wait up until October 7th. Anything could happen.
I mean, I'm not going to, maybe I'll make one minor adjustment, but I don't think that I like to keep it organized and dirty at the same time. That sounds weird. Quote me.
I'm talking to you, Charlie. You never know what you're going to say. I'm just like, you know what? We're just going to go with the flow. I'm just glad that you stopped by to hang out with us, to talk with us between your 9 to 5 job you've got going on as a rock star and superstar. Others need to try that. You've got a new album. It will be coming October the 7th.
That's right.
And then you have your single out right now. Any single that you're like out of the cuts, any one that you particularly are a favorite, like, okay, all 10 of them are your kids, but anyone that when we hear it, we're going to go, okay, that's different.
I really love the song Loser.
Okay.
It's track 7, I believe.
Okay. Well, we're going to go with it. Thank you for talking with us. I always appreciate hanging out with you. No forced ants this time. Very grateful for that, because I'm just going to drink my water. Keep it simple.
Cheers to the water.
There we go. Cheers to the new album coming out October the 7th. Charlie Puth, one of our favorites. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much. Great to speak to you again. I really, really appreciate it, Madison.
All right. Me too. Bye.